Hey everybody, well tonight I want to take you someplace and I want to tell you about something. Where we're going is here, Royal Roads University. And I want to show you something specifically here on the grounds I think you'll find kind of cool. But while we're doing that, I want to tell you about something. It's geez, I don't know how you kind of talk about a topic like this. It is funny, but the reality is, I mean, it's about terrorism. I know we're all pretty sensitive about that sort of thing these days, you know, with all of the attacks and the worldwide activities of terrorist groups. But, well, I mean, this is still funny. It is what it is, right? So, it's a different type of terrorism, though. It's terrorism that, well, I've been involved with this particular organization for some time. We're not a, what you would call a organized terrorist group, but we are a terrorist group nonetheless. And it's kind of disturbing. But here, let's start off by showing you this. Check this out. You see it? Turn around. You see that right there? Kind of cool. I got a couple other angles I want to show you. Anyways, back to this terrorist organization. And again, it's not an organization. It's more of a collective group of individuals doing their own thing. There's different types of terrorists in the world. There's those who are striving to overthrow, you know, governments and democracy, and those who want to, you know, fight for the rights and lives of, you know, animals, or who knows. Terrorists for everything. Check out this side. It's pretty cool, eh? It's very cool, actually. The terrorism that I'm talking about today, and I think each of you have probably been touched by this sort of terrorism. I mean, I guarantee you have. I guarantee that there's not one person watching this video that has been personally affected by this type of terrorism. That is really cool. Canadian geese. Are there American geese? Or do those geese, when they fly south, do they just become American geese? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, this is the terrorism that I'm talking about. It's called lyrical terrorism. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Some of you don't. Lyrical terrorism is what happens when an individual like myself walks into a room of people. Perhaps it's lunchtime at work. People are chit-chatting. Perhaps it's just around a couple individuals while perhaps you're, I don't know, working around them. It could be any situation you want. It could be like at a funeral. It could be anywhere like that. And you walk in, kind of chit-chat with them and kind of see where they're at. And when the timing is right, you let out a very brief, short, few bars of whether it be a popular song or maybe a TV show theme or something like that. And you just do it real quick. Now, why I'm telling you is because I attempted this a little while back, and it backfired on me. Yeah, it backfired on me. Well, let me show you up here first. Anybody recognize that? People are thinking about it. Recognize it? That is Hatley Castle. Built in 1908 for James Dunsmuir, who was a bit of a wealthy guy. I think he was like a railroad baron or something like that. Forestry, maybe? I don't know. It was something fairly substantial. And it's basically a replica of a 15th century castle over in the UK somewhere. And he had it built back in the day. And then back in the 30s, 1930, I believe, it handed it over to the Canadian government, and they turned it into a university, Royal Roads University. It's a military university. And then back in 95, somewhere around there, they decommissioned it, and they've made it into a university just for the general Joe Blow to attend. But what's cool about it is that, has anyone clicked in yet? Does anyone here watch X-Men? Scratching heads. Oh yeah, you got it? Yeah, that's right. It is the School for the Gifted. Xavier's School for the Gifted. Yeah, it's coming back to you now. They've taken off the ivy that was crawling on the front of it. I think they do that every couple of years. But that, in fact, is the place where Xavier gathered all his mutant orphans and taught them how to use their powers. Check it out. Take a look. Yeah, I'm true. I'm not lying. Why do people think I'm lying? No, it's the real deal. It's the real deal. Anyways, hey, back to this lyrical terrorism. So, I tried to drop some lyrical terrorism on some people that I knew. I was trying to do it at work, actually. And the song I used, because you kind of need to use songs that are will be associated to by the individual, right? You don't want to be using old music on young kids and new music on old people. So I chose a theme song. Well, I chose two things. What do you mean? I can't go down there? I have to go left? I'm going to go down there. I'm going down there. So I chose two songs. But one in particular is the one that, well, it backfired. And Earth, Wind, and Fire. I think that's who sings it. If not, write it down below. I've been wrong before. What goes up must come down. Da, 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 da. Well, that's the song, right? Okay, well, you come in, you lay into it with just the first part. What goes up, and then you pause and you let it go. You just let it go. You don't finish it. You don't throw nothing in there at all. Just what goes up, and it just goes into their heads. They don't realize it, but it's sinking into their heads. And they're saying to themselves, they're saying, geez, I know that song. But they're not actually thinking that, but part of the brain's going, what is that? I know that song. And then they start going through like a Rolodex thing for songs. And they find it. It's Earth, Wind, and Fire. And then subconsciously they start singing it in their head. And next thing you know, and it only takes a matter of sometimes seconds, usually about a minute or two, the song will start coming out of their face. So you hit them with the first one, what goes up, and then you leave it. Poof. They do the little subconscious thing. They find it, ka-ching, and then they're subconsciously singing it. And the next thing you know, you will hear them, what goes up must come down, and you've done it. You've implanted a song in their head. And if you've done it right, it will stay with them all day. Because they've done that little Rolodex thing. Oh, here it is. And then they just start playing it over and over in their head. Probably because they don't remember the rest of the lyrics. Because I don't. I just remember, what goes up must come down. Well, the problem is, here's the problem. It backfired on me. It backfired badly. I couldn't get it out of my head. I could not shake it. I cannot. Yeah. And for the rest of the day, and it was days. First of all, I couldn't get somebody to actually, stick in their head. But then days after, I'll be just driving along quietly, going to work, and not really thinking about anything. And then all of a sudden, I'd hear myself say, "What goes up must come down," And I'd say, no, I don't want to sing that. Okay, I'm done. And then I try to like do some like counter-terrorism by bringing in another song, like bringing in something else from like my childhood or something like just sit right back and you hear a tale of a fateful trip that started on this tropic isle aboard this tiny ship. And I go into Gilligan's Island and I go through the whole song and I'd finish. And then a couple minutes later, I'd be driving along, silence. What goes up must come down, and I'm like, no, I don't, get it out of my head. So I'm just here to say, look, kids, you're young, you're impressionable, you know, you got your whole future ahead of you. Stay out of lyrical terrorism. I mean, it's intriguing, it sounds cool, hey, that would be fun, but it can mess you up. So that's all this video is about. The X-Men, Xavier's Castle, you know, School for the Gifted. You can kind of see it. No, you can't see it now, but take my word for it. It's just right over there. And lyrical terrorism. Those are my topics for today. I hope that somehow this gets out there and reaches somebody, helps somebody, and perhaps, you know, if I can help one kid just stay off the path of lyrical terrorism, you know, I've done my job. I've done all I can do. So, with that, I thank you for watching. For Miss Yamimoto and myself, have a good evening, and thanks for riding with me. Ciao.